Good morning. It's Mike in the morning. And boy, do I have a book for you, book club. We're reading different books this year, and we're part of a book club. Next year's book club where we're reading 25 books in 25. And our book club is just going over the books that we have read, which are valuable to our learning experience. So if you haven't got a book, you have to get your book and look at somebody else's experiences, and it can be a blessing to you and can be help to you and can be growth, stimulate your growth. Well, boy, I have a book for you, book club. I'm reading this time. The book is called Get Out of Your Own Way. Sometimes we be in our own way of growing or our own way of expanding, but we're just in our way. This is a successful handbook series by John R. Calabrese, Calabres. I always spell those something that I have a hard time processing, so you can get a better idea of the name, and you can be more in tune with what it really is. But I don't let words stop me from getting a good idea of what he's saying. In this book review, I want to cover real quickly here. He has eight basic chapters to the book. Superpower, his story, influence, curses, and programming is number 3, and how to manage your emotions, number 4, and chapter 5 covers how your health plays a role in your success. Just finished reading chapter 6. It's called Being Stuck. Each one of us can get stuck on certain things in life. We get stuck because of trauma, get stuck because of emotional problems, get stuck because we have overexpended our emotional relationship. We get stuck. And chapter 7 say things you can do. I always like to look at when there's a problem, I always have a tendency to try to solve that problem. I'm not just one of those people that listen to you, nod their head, and leave you in the worst shape you was in, but I try to somehow bring relief to a situation that may be troubling to you. And finally, that he says, things you can do. And number 8, chapter 8, some additional things you to consider. I want to tell you it's a good book and it's a good perspective on things. I'm looking at it for a lot of things, and I'm looking at the different pages, and I know it's going to be a real good book for you. I'm going to cover a little bit more in a few minutes that we have. I'm going to cover it's going to be a blessing to you. I told you I just read chapter 6, but let me give you chapter 1. He said chapter 1 talks about our superpower. We all possess a superpower. Sometimes it helps us to get what we want in life, and sometimes it brings us things we don't want. That's a direct quote from the book, and that superpower that we use can be beneficial. We learn through repetition. We develop neutral pathways. Learning also causes the growth of new great matters in our life. And we can overcome those and be more successful. This is just talking about habits. You discover the habits that you're doing badly and habits that you are doing successfully. We want to grow those habits which you're doing successfully and limit those habits which are negative effect. I'm gonna give some examples of what I mean to be helpful. Have you ever been in a situation where you want something specifically outcome and you felt so happy and confident in the outcome would be, but when it looked unrealistic, you never waver in your knowledge of how things would turn out? Or you gotta have faith, as we would say in a biblical sense, but there when things aren't going right. Keep the faith, keep believing, and it can work out positively in your hand. I want to tell you that in each end of the chapter, the writer poses certain questions. What are your takeaways from the chapter, and what action steps can you take? And what point do you need to reflect on? I tell you, that's a very important question. All three of them are, but what points do you reflect on? Often, change isn't made when the first time, but we have to reflect on things, and then we will make some changes which we feel are in our own best interest. So always consider, what points do you need to reflect on? I'm considering that, because tomorrow I want to be better than I was today. Chapter 2, he said, it's a different story. Even if it's not likely, make it your way with your thoughts, words, and belief. Your belief is the only belief that matters. Do you do this and watch how your life change for the better? Changing your perspective, changing your thoughts, changing your words, and changing your beliefs will make a change in your application, and that will make a change in your life. Everybody's got a story. There are how your day is going. You are in control of your story, at least in control of how you tell your story. And you can tell your story that it makes a difference in your life today. You know, there's a connection between how you think, how you feel, and how you speak. And it's a constant connection with thoughts of worry. We literally worry about wholesome situations, and situations that are absorbing our energy. By focusing all our energy on the outcome, you can create that. You can create that. When you look at a house and you say to yourself, I'm going to buy that house, that begins the process of you acquiring that house or those things. And you have to be careful, because of what you say leads to what you think. And what you think will lead to what you speak. And what you speak will lead to what you acquire. Why not think about something positive and see what happens? As long as you are expecting something negative, it seems unrealistic. Expectations sometimes will follow, but as expectations follow something great, when you think something great in your life. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because what you think will have a definite impact on what you do. Tell a different story, even if it's not true yet. Express what you want to see happen. Or get out of your way. Get out of that negative thinking. Get into positive thinking. It hasn't happened. But guess what? It hasn't happened yet. But everything is subject to change until there's no more of you. But there's still a lot left of you, and good things are happening. I want to cover chapter 5 rather, and we're going to be finished. Chapter 5 opens up with this question. So what do you do if you get stuck? The first thing you should do is change your story you are telling about yourself and your situation. You don't have to live in your past. And the past, you can blaze new trails through growth. And that's why we each read books. And this has been a wonderful book. It's changing my life. When I reflect on it, I rejoice in what I am. I embrace where I'm going. Hey, this is Mike in the morning, and boy, do I have a book for you, book club.